What up, memes? And if anyone else is in here, because it still says zeros in here. Anyone else is in here? Oh shit! I thought I turned on the volume. Okay. What up, everyone that's here so far? While we're waiting for people to come in, I'm going to make sure that my videos that I got already. How y'all doing tonight, though? I'm good. Going to be in and out. Still trying to finish up a few things. Okay. Hey, Donna. All right. Gallery. Boom. What is this doing? No, get up. Share another tab, blah, 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 blah. I don't want to share internet things. Oh, I know what I gotta do. You said you're tired. You know, that's my logo. Video clips. That sound good. Maybe I'm tired. Why are you so tired? Why are you so tired? What the hell is this? One second. Hopefully this don't start playing on its own. Nope, good. Click the screen icon. What is this talking about? Okay, we got 5 in here. Cool. All right, y'all. Tonight, we talk a little bit about school violence, teen violence, whichever, and we're going to have a guest speaker that is in school. And before we do that, I'm gonna show 3 clips. Keep in mind, it's graphic. It's something that recently happened. Well, actually, I'm gonna bring our guest up here. If she's ready, I'm gonna bring her up here before I play the clips. Let her introduce herself and all that. Is our guest ready? Cool. How do I bring the chat back though? All right, let me drop this link. All right, you just click the link. Let's go up, so I gotta lean off over. And then whenever you click the link, I should see you at the bottom. Well, it's gonna have you set up a Google profile right quick. Oh, there we go. All right. What's up, Anaya? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool. All right, y'all. Well, for those of us that's still in here, I'd like to introduce y'all to Anaya. She's currently in high school, so definitely keep it appropriate. Um, you want to tell us anything about you?
Yeah, so I'm a senior in high school. My school is not too far away from West Potomac High School. That's actually the school I'm initially supposed to go to. I was sent videos of this incident from my friend because she actually seen it happen. So I have a little bit more knowledge of what was going on, adding on to whatever we talk about.
Gotcha. Cool, cool, cool. That was her quick introduction about it. All right, y'all. So I'm gonna play these three clips right quick, and we'll have a little quick discussion about it just to kind of wake up our brains for the main topic. I've never used this before, so hopefully I do it right. This is how everything got started, I believe. Y'all see the young man in the black getting in a fight and kind of chasing the young man in the red, right? I mean, the fights is pretty common in high school and stuff like that, right? We're all pretty used to that. Um, and then if y'all look closely to this next clip, if y'all feel like it in the comments, you might notice a few things. Okay, that's a little bit shorter than I remembered it being. And then, all right, like I said, y'all just keep in mind this last one is a little bit graphic, and then we'll get into what happened and all that.
Hey guys, go, clear, go, move, dive, go.
All right, for the few that's in here, and for probably people that comes in later on, like they normally do, I'll probably have to go back to that. But I'm assuming that all y'all seen it. Oh, hey, Gloss, what's up? I'll let Naya break it down because she knows about it more than I do.
Okay. Okay, so the incident had first happened, I guess. Well, I seen a lot of people say how the aggressor turned into the victim. Um, so there was actually posted videos before that incident, and it showed how at first the boy in the black shirt was kind of huddled up in a ball on the ground while the guy in the red had started the fight initially with him. And however, his friend in the white t-shirt, he kind of came over, started pushing him a bit, and so the aggressor started targeting the boy in the white shirt. Shortly after that, the boy that was in the black shirt that was laying down, he went over and he had a knife in his pocket. So as soon as he got the knife into his hand, he kind of ran over, and every hit that he was hitting with the boy in the red shirt, he started stabbing him in his stomach, and then also stabbing him twice into his neck. Um, the boy didn't feel it, of course, because of adrenaline, but as soon as he did feel it, after I guess the seventh stab, because he stabbed him 8 times, he started running, and then the boy started chasing him after that. And basically, shortly after that, the boy was laying down. He was bleeding a lot, and he had completely passed out. Teachers kind of rushed over, but they rushed over kind of at the end of it. Nobody had tried to really break up the fight because they had seen the blood. And after that, he was pretty much lifeless. They weren't sure if he had died at the scene because he did have no pulse. After that, they rushed him, of course, over to the hospital. Family of the person was telling people at the school how he did die and they had to revive him in the hospital, so he is in critical condition. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I can't hear. Oh, we can't hear you.
I forgot I muted myself. Here in the service. My bad, y'all. I was saying so we all we all know about or heard about different school shootings and stuff like that. This one obviously wasn't a shooting; it was a stabbing. But some people blame firearms, some people blame the parents, the kids, bullies, whatever. So we've all heard it all. But it's like with you guys, you know, where does some of it start, or where do we start as far as solutions for things like that? Do y'all believe it's solely just the firearms, or solely just because a kid was bullied? It sounds like in this case, from what Anaya was saying, that the kid that did the stabbing, I mean, like she said, he was originally getting beat up, didn't start the fight. And I'm not sure how accurate it is, but I originally heard that it was over a ski mask, which is crazy. That's wild. I'll give y'all a second while I'm sending out this notification just to type anything in. If y'all have any comments or suggestions, other than sending each other love letters.
Well, you can also re-ask the topic. The topic is about a stabbing that happened at a school nearby me. The student was actually the aggressor at first. However, as soon as the victim had gotten up, he actually had a pocket knife and started stabbing the student around like 7 to 8 times, and he is now in critical condition, but he is stable.
Yeah, that's like our warm up or starting topic. Okay, still five in here. I was gonna say I can replay it, but I think it's the same number of people up in here. Yeah, I don't even know if y'all would want me to replay it. And excuse me, like I said, I'm sharing this out as I'm talking. I'm because I think you just got in here. I know Mimi's back and forth. I'm not sure if Glossine. I'm gonna play it one. We'll play all three of them one more time in the service. The first one is kind of from a distance, so you can't really see it too well. I had originally said it was the start of the fight, but as we were just told, it was not the start of the fight. I guess it's just the earliest video I have.
Yeah, it's kind of.
You see the boy in the red fighting and beating up on a boy in a white shirt, and then what it looks like that the boy in the black jumped in, but Anai had explained that before that, I guess the boy in the black was balled up in a ball, getting beat up on. All right.
Hey, guys, go!
And then once again, like I had explained before, this part might be a little graphic for some people. Okay.
Hey, guys, go! Clear! Go! Move! Guys, go!
And that's kind of the video from what happened in the service. Oh, no problem, Gloss. Yes, it's pretty sad. So, like I was asking, is like y'all have any feelings on that? You know, like I said, some people say,
So yeah, he's
no.
not dead.
There you go.
He's in stable condition right now, but his condition is very bad because he was stabbed 7 to 8 times, twice in the neck, and then the rest in his stomach, abdomen, on the side of his hip.
There you go. And then I guess, and I was saying that the parents of the young man that was stabbed said that he died and they resuscitated him. Um. Oh, give me just a little bit in the service. Let me get to the main topic, and then I'll let you in if you can hear me. Let me type in. Or let me get to the end of this topic. I mean, let me, because I don't know if you can hear right now. Get to the end of this topic right quick. Comments. Oh man, I keep forgetting to post the comments. God said, what the F? Maybe put it right here. Yeah, so it's like, y'all got any suggestions? You know, your own personal feelings behind things like that? That was a nice pause. All right, nothing? All right. Okay, hang on. In the service, I'm adding you up here. Hello?
Hi. Okay. Uh, it's important that we look at this situation. I kind of got the grasp of it just from you showing the pictures themselves, but it's important as we look at this situation as to how is it mandated and interpreted by law enforcement, from the events that occur to how it's going to be documented. So when we look at that, they call those events. Event one, what was the trigger? Event two, collect the data and get a consensus from the witnesses around, which helps them compile the data. Number three, we can see that a victim can be an offender as well as an offender can be a victim, because it always takes two. This is how the law
Yeah.
mandates it and how we are to write it. All right. So we call that a cross reference index. So we can get the detectives that after we write our paperwork in enforcement, it gets passed to a detective that works that case. That way, by cross indexing, he has to look at both sides of the situation to judge it fairly as it moves up the bureaucratic ladder to it becoming a case in court. That's the logistics of it. So uh, these things were brought about because in the instance of it, it would, a long time ago, I started in the 90s, but a long time ago, too much would lean towards one situation where a victim can provoke the situation, the offender can be the offender because they're struck first, but they still have two to tangle. They want to weigh it evenly. The courts did that to make it weigh evenly. So I'm just saying, bear in mind in the situation, since we don't have enough of the data as to what led up to the actual confrontation between them, uh, it's left open to interpretation. We would have to look at the police report to see what information they derived. And that's
Um,
where
there
it would
is a
go.
there is a police report posted now. If you wanted to try to find that, or I could try to send you the video of the response for Fairfax County.
If you can, real quick, in the service, if you can give us both a perspective from 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 being prior law enforcement, and then just being a mother and a grandmother. If you have a personal opinion on how to prevent these type of things, because I'm sure, as you know, as a lot of us know, if violence is gonna happen, violence is gonna happen. It doesn't matter what the tool is. As you've seen in this one, it wasn't a gun, it was a knife. It could be a fist, it could be a bat, it could be a hammer, it could be a brick. But as far as like violence with these teams, again, is as a mother and a grandmother yourself, and then from one's perspective, then from another of prior law enforcement, how do you feel we can prevent things like these?
Well, there's a lot of mitigating factors that determine that. I mean, you got the officer friendly program that was federally funded. Now that's been dissipated. You've got certain things that, you got a lack of hiring of additional police. I mean, you've got only one police for every several thousand people. That ratio doesn't even make comprehensive good sense. So when you see that they're not funding to protect you in your own communities, I mean, you got, it's so many things right now. Uh, we could compare that to Donald Trump doesn't want to fund, uh, what is that school, Harvard or Northwestern for research and future research on medicine. The comparatives are so vast that uh, will it stop? Probably not, because certain types of weather permeate certain types of temperament. So there's a lot of factors in there. Then, you got to look at poverty, that, a lot of social programs, mental health is being cut. So out of that spawns some more conflict and confusion and violence. So it's a many things. It's not any one thing. It's many things. Um, I can say this as a mother, I don't put judgments on people, that's not my way. But as a mother and a grandmother, I keep an open line of communication with my grandkids and my child to find out where their mindset is at. If you help influence the mindset positively, then you're probably going to get better outcomes than you're going to get negative outcomes. This is how I use it. And then I stand back and watch its growth, or I'll intervene if I see that it's in, that the growth is in decline.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it from that perspective point, you can only help a situation. There's always only two choices. So you can either help a situation to lift it, or you can stand back and do nothing and watch it in its own decline. And if you have no conscience, it won't bother you. If you have a conscience, you'll say, how did I factor that, or could I have helped it to make it better? That's called the extension of the hand. You extend that hand to help the situation, especially if it's around you, and sometimes you do it out of natural effect because you don't want that negative stuff around you, plain and simple. But there's too many factors now in today's tribulations. We are in a bad situation globally that's affecting us within our houses. This stuff is in our homes, is something we got to view into every day. It's becoming the norm, which it shouldn't be the norm, that we have to look at, and it has an effect on everybody. Everybody. It doesn't matter if I'm my age and retired, or if you're young. And I really feel for you all, because it's not the way society was. I can't say that a long time ago we used to sit out on our porches. The neighbors would stay out till 6 a.m. Everybody knew everybody, it was peace. It wasn't this. But you got to look at a government that's changing this too. It's a lot of things that are factoring this. It's not no one. And then comes the finger blaming. Let me point it at this. Let me point it at that. I feel in the Black community, they never got their reparations. So we live what? A continuum of much more of the same. It becomes a continuum, sad as it may be. But keep your mind up, look up, stay positive, chase your joys, keep a smile on your face, and make sure you keep all that devilment away from you. It's not for you. It doesn't have to be your path. Because it's around you doesn't mean in your mind that you got to choose to live it.
Okay.
So that's how I deal with it. I deal with it from an intelligent perspective as to what I want. Is it healthy for me or is it not? It's a shame kids can't go to school without bullets, guns. Here in Chicago, you can't even ride the L train. Every day at a different stop is shootings and killings. It's ridiculous. And most of them are young. Most of them are young. Now let's factor this. They're parents that don't care. They say, they get on TV here and say, parents, make sure you know where your kids are at. But yet every weekend we got these swarms of kids downtown donutting in cars, and they're just out of hand. We have curfews now that have different times in different locations because these kids are young, out of hands, their parents don't care. They breaking into all these businesses. They just go shopping by tearing up this stuff. So we got a real serious problem here in Chicago. What happens to us as seniors? We can't go out there. We have to stay in our homes to stay safe. But I'd rather do that than to be out there and become a victim of it.
Right. Okay.
You got to choose. You got to choose how to protect yourself in a situation that's around you that is violent. And what happens? Let's look at that. Whites move out when blacks move in communities. They move away from us because they think that we're gonna come in and be violent. So you got blacks doing the same thing. They saying, "I'm getting up out of here." There's a lot of people leaving Chicago now because don't nobody want to be bothered with this. It's too stressful. So it's not good. And will they have a solution? I hope so. For the future, I hope so. And hope is a good thing. But it'll take years and years and years because the first thing they have to do is admit and take a look at under the microscope where they went wrong. Where did it go wrong? How did it get this perverted? And then they got to face the accountability of how it got this perverted. Now that's going to take a while because you're dealing with a government that don't want to say it's wrong. It has nothing to do with Democratic or Republican. But moral conscience for the society to be able to breathe and advance is essential. It's essential to the society's lifespan.
You actually just made me think of a question for you, but I'm gonna come right back to that. Naya has one audio for us, or in the audio, I don't know if it's one, but he has the audio for us right quick, and then I'm gonna come back.
This is the
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think this is either the principal or the whoever is in charge of Fairfax County speaking out at the school after the incident. So I was just gonna play the audio. It kind of gives more information about the incident afterwards. So let me just play it.
They know each other. We're working out the circumstances of that relationship. And when we have that information with a degree of certainty, we will share that. Another bit of news as we were walking up to share this information with you, in addition to getting calls from so many community members expressing concern, as we were notified that our victim, and again, our victim is 16 years old, is now in stable condition, which is a sigh of relief for the entire community. He will hopefully be back in a position to be back in school and lead a productive life. So Dr. Reed's going to share some thoughts as well, and then we'll stand ready to take your questions. Dr. Reed.
So one additional thing about that is at my school, Fairfax County was already starting just a safety search for all schools. My school is an IB testing school, so they first started the test at my school to see if they want to do it at others. They brought metal detectors and they had resource officers searching bags just randomly at school. This was for everybody to enter. Everybody pretty much had to line up. And we do have students from West Potomac coming as well just to take classes at my school. So if they were to have done that at West Potomac prior to this incident, it could have definitely been avoided. But they actually moved the metal detectors from my school over there because they weren't going to get theirs in time. They were going to start their search and safety in a week from before this incident
Well,
happened.
actually, it couldn't have. Now, I'm going to give you a case scenario. My husband is also in law enforcement. He's 30 years. He worked at Harlan High School. Now, here in the public school system, the Chicago public school system has their own police force. So when the kids come through, they are to check the book bags and everything else before they can go on to the school grounds. The Chicago public school system work. And someone on that line didn't check those bags properly. A kid got into the lunchroom and had a gun and started getting ready to shoot off everybody. And my husband had to put that gun to that kid's head and told him not today. So you talking about human flaw. You can have human flaw as well. We can brainstorm over and over. How did it happen? How did it get to that? How did it cross the lines? And they're going to give you in the news some sort of plausible explanation, but behind scenes, somebody dropped the ball for it to get into the school and threaten the safety of the children that are just trying to go to get an education. So can it happen? Yeah, it can happen. It can happen. But the officer that you heard, that's called a preliminary investigation. He's just giving the news a synopsis, basically a synopsis. And then they go to they call it going to the round table. And that's where all the big wigs come in any municipality. You know, the chief wants to know what's going on, the head of the detective bureau. They want to know so they don't look bad in the news with this stuff. So they sit down at a table and then they think this whole thing out as to what they're going to tell us as the masses. And then what goes on to, you know, take this up to a scale where it, like I said, if it goes to court or whatever have you, they got to take this after it goes through enforcement. They got to now confer with state's attorneys. You know, they got to take it to the state level to see if this is a case that can be tried or not tried, if it's worth the money, if it's not worth the money. A whole lot of things factor into where that case is going to go. So it's again, I'm glad that to hear in what you played that the child was going to be all right. You know, but can somebody drop the ball? They started searching bags when people started bringing their cell phones years ago. That's when my daughter was 13. She's 44 now. So they was doing this in Chicago, you know, for a long time. It's not new,
Yes.
but you have to always look at the margin of error. You can be as precise as you are, and that's a good thing because you dot your I's and cross your T's. But your best friend could be not so smart as you and ends up in a lot of calamity because she doesn't dot her I's and cross her T's. You see what I'm talking about? Which
Mhm.
could trigger a dropping of the ball.
All right, y'all.
Those are those situations that we say, uh-oh.
Not trying to rush y'all, but before I jump to the next subject, I hope I got y'all awake a little bit now. Um, before I switch to the next subject, does either of y'all? Well, Nah, you were up here originally. Does either of y'all have any closing remarks on this part? Go ahead and if you do.
The only thing I can say is what I do. I pray. I pray every day that it gets better. I pray for you all's future. I recognize the fact that I'm 70 and my time down here is limited. So I do the best and give the best out of my soul that I can. I do recognize that you all are the future. So therefore, I pray for you all to have a better future. It's important. Somebody got to.
You never know. That could have been that kid's last day ever, and it was over something stupid. They had also made a remark that was over a ski mask. an item that you wear. So it was definitely an unneeded situation. I feel like teachers definitely need to be more aware of first aid or just regular CPR, because in one of the videos it didn't show that the teacher was at least trying CPR, kind of just being beside him trying to move students along.
Yes, but I also look at it from a two-sided sword. You got teachers in there that are political picks, so they're gonna clam up and say, "Ooh, I don't want to be a part of this." And then you got other teachers that say, "Well, the government doesn't pay me to do that." You got all kind of mindsets in there. So that's
Yes.
why you have people that come to the chase and say, "Okay, well, I'll step in front." Those are called heroes. See, when you take this in a wider critical thinking process, you see the things that can factor it into a good situation or that can factor it to just blah and then, take it down. No more than the George Floyd situation. Okay. We had to get riled up because we knew it was wrong, but we had to take it further. Those people that were willing to get to the front and fight for that man's rights. So there's a here I'm associated with people politically that go all the way up to the White House. I'm from the Obama era and I'm under those people. Those people were my friends. So we round table and talk about all these things and how they affect us. We're what you call the Chicago activists. We're the last of them because we're still in the trenches, but we just play a different way. We don't need news coverage to say, but we still raise our voice to say, okay, this is not right. This is how we're going to stand on this situation. And we stand in principle on them and we stand united here. That's still amazing in this day and time. I'm just saying that this government had a responsibility to ensure a good education and a future for you all. This government is blindsided because if they don't, then futuristically they're going to, no matter what we change to AI technology, this, that, or the other, they will not have a surplus or a plethora of people that are educated to do this job. See, that's how they're failing. Knowledge is power. It always will be, and it always has been. It's the utilization of it constructively and in positive manner. This government is not that. It's anything but that. We got much more of the same. And they just said that on TV tonight. Okay, they packaged this man. He won the election again to be the president, but we still have an idiot. And that is the truth. When you get widespan news saying that CNN, MSNBC, it's the truth. He's a pawn in the game, and the money behind it is what's fueling it. Bezos, all of them people, Elon Musk, Buffett, all of them.
I don't mean to cut you off, but I got to jump to the next subject right quick because it's already 38 minutes into it. Ladies, I appreciate y'all. I'm
What
gonna
is
drop
your
y'all.
channel?
Say what now?
What is your channel? I'm trying to find you on YouTube and I can't find your channel.
It's Warlord, Warlord, not Warlord McGransty, Warlord 0331.
0331.
Yeah,
Okay, I'm trying to switch my phones. That's why I was trying to ask you. Uh,
cool. I appreciate you. Oh, I'll see drop down. I was about to say I'm gonna drop y'all for just a second. But like I
I'm
said, I
gonna
hope.
drop off. I'm gonna drop off. Period. I don't do this anymore. I have a lot of stuff that I have to get done in my own life as far as this rehab and everything else. I'm still in a bit of a pickle, but I don't give up. You know, um, I fail and fall back. It's frustrating, but I
Mhm.
stand right back up and I still keep forging forward. So
Yeah, don't give up.
I
Right.
don't do this anymore. I just came up to say, take in mind the logistics of how law runs and how they're going to look at this. and we
No, I
have
definitely
to.
appreciate.
Nothing is cut and dry in these situations.
Yeah. No, I think you have one of the perfect opinions from this. Just due to your various backgrounds. Like I said, as a mother, grandmother, prior law enforcement. So that was good timing. I appreciate
Yeah. Oh, okay, you're gonna drop down, so I'm gonna leave now. And I'll still watch the show. I'm listening in, okay?
you. Alrighty. Thank you
All
again.
right, bye-bye.
Good night. Or not good night. Bye. All right, y'all. So hopefully those y'all listening here that kind of caught y'all attention, woke y'all up a little bit. The next one I'm gonna jump to, I guess you can say is a little bit brighter note. I just we're not gonna play the whole thing because this is someone else's video reviewing another video. I just want to see or hear y'all's opinion on it. Excuse me, one moment. And basically, this is really quick. This is a woman talking about she hates traditional marriage. I haven't. I just kind of looked at it right quick. I haven't really paid attention to what she was saying. So I guess we can all get a brand new open perspective at the same time. And then after that, we'll get on to the main subject, which is once again people being in their own. But if it wasn't clear what I had typed in, people being in their own bubbles, their own little worlds. Like for example, you got one cousin from, I don't know, Mississippi, and then another cousin from California, and then one or both of them is like looking at the other one like, well, why do you do this? Why do you do that? We don't do this that where I'm from. That's just like a soft example of how a lot of people are nowadays. They expect everyone to be how like they are, live how they live. Like I said, we'll get to that, to the main one right after this short part. Play this stupid ad.
Up with ads like it's 2010. Like it's 2025, guys. Just use Pi. This Chrome extension takes 5 seconds to set up and
What do you believe is the role of a husband and a wife in a marriage? I don't like the word traditionalism when it comes to marriage.
Oh,
Sorry.
she had a quick ass walkout, huh?
Hello, welcome in. What's your name?
She got to the.
Hi, my name is Ashley.
These outfits that these young ladies are wearing. Ashley.
Because looks like he's reviewing it. He's talking too much. I'm just gonna get the original one. Sorry about that, y'all. Where'd it go? My bad. Hold on. Let me switch it back to this real quick because he's gonna interject a little bit too much because that's his show, him reviewing it. But just from that open part, what do y'all think? What's on? What comes to mind right away? Almost like we're prejudging. While I look for that. And I switch back to my keyboard with lights on it. Nothing yet. Nothing so far. Well, my prejudgment to that so far, without hearing more, is pretty much, I don't know. I'm guessing that she's had a few relationships, been into it with a few people, or maybe she's seen her parents or grandparents have not the best relationship. It's just usually what I would prejudge on people saying stuff like I don't do traditional, or some people they're just like that because they don't want to do traditional. Some of them want to follow well cultural traditions from Africa, different places. Some people think that they're following cultural traditions, but it's really just stuff people made up. Sorry. I should have viewed it first, so I can know exactly where to pause and not pause. Mm, wow. There we go. Oh, all right. I'm having a hard time finding the original because there's so many people that makes reviews off of this. We don't want that. Mm, all right, fine. We'll just go back to what I had it at. Sorry about that, y'all. We'll do this dude's because I don't think he talks as much.
Complexion, he's tall.
Okay. We don't want to do all that. We don't want to see all that.
Hello, welcome in. What's your name?
On stuff. Again, it's just
Hi, my name is Ashley.
Ashley, how old are you?
I'm 25.
Okay, and what do you do?
I'm an actress, and I also work in the education department of a theater, and I teach kids musical theater.
Okay, that's fun. What are some things you like to do for fun?
I love to do karaoke. I like to hang out with my friends and my family and also travel. I've also gotten into pageantry lately, so that's something fun and new.
Okay. And what do you look for in a man?
I'm looking for somebody that's really kind-hearted and somebody who has emotional intelligence as well as emotional availability.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, I'm telling you, if I was, yeah, my, and then you,
combative, that is a no from me.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. So we did get some pop balloons.
Okay.
Let's go on over there to see why they ended up
Of
popping.
course.
All right, your name and age.
Tank 28.
All right. We can do all
And
that.
Tank, why did you end up popping your balloon?
I do smoke marijuana from time to time.
Okay.
Tell Sean ain't about that. I just wanted to know y'all's perspective on her saying she doesn't agree with or believe in traditional marriage. Y'all think that that's like a stigmatism or not stigmatism, like basically I'll just put it simple. Y'all think that's something that came about a little bit more modern, or has always been around? People just don't really talk about it, and why? Me, growing up with my parents, I can only really see and learn from them. So to me, I feel like that's people not believing traditional marriage. I believe that's a little bit more modern. Maybe started at the end of the 90s, like the very tail end. For that to be like more of a spread thing, because I hear that quite often nowadays. Like, and then that can come from different things like household things, how you seen your parents, how you seen your friends' parents, things like that. Before I continue, Donna said, "That's your view and is modern. Do what works for you." Here we go. That's one. Like it's new for me. Like for for example, it used to shock me if I'm the youngest out of my siblings, so I moved the least amount. But like when we got back to the States from Puerto Rico, from living there for a few years, people would be surprised of like, they'll say something your mom. I'm like, well, my parents, and then we'll get into whatever conversation, and they'll be like, they're still together, and they would be shocked, and I would be shocked that people would be shocked. Like when I moved to like I said, left Puerto Rico, came back to the States or to Illinois, a lot of people were shocked, and that just threw me off. And that kind of gets me to where I say, to me, I think it's a little bit of a newer thing, because that was the tail end of the '90s and early 2000s. I personally believe, just me personally, if you're gonna get married, you should try to make it traditional. But that doesn't mean follow exactly how other people did it, how some book told you to do it, stuff like that. Do what works for you and your husband or wife or whatever it may be. Do what works for you, but I'm a little bit more traditional, old school when it comes to marriage. All right. Anybody else if I jump onto the main topic? I was going to try to keep it an hour, but we're going to go a little bit over just for me to get through the main topic. Now I'm getting off and out of here. Because we were possibly going to talk about something else, but my homeboy didn't hit me back. All right. Oh, wait, one comment popped up. Glossy said, I say just choose whatever will last. That too. There's a decent amount of people where I guess certain states or maybe all states, they would be common law marriage, but they never officially got married. But it's worked for them. They've been together. Everyone else's eyes, they're probably married, but not officially on paper through the government. Yeah. Anything else on that? All right. And for the main subject, I don't have a video or nothing. Just me spitting it off my head. I threw away my little talking points I had because I didn't like what I was talking about. It wasn't even on subject. But basically, the main subject of tonight, like I was saying, is people stuck in their own ways, their own bubbles, their own little world, and they expect everyone else, or they feel like everyone else, or they get confused and don't understand why everyone else or other people that they might meet from a different part of the country or whatever, it lives different from them or does things different from them, or we won't even get into pronouncing some words different. That's silly. People don't get that. I think they're just silly. And it doesn't necessarily have to be on the negative end of it, but I was originally, when I thought of that topic, it was due to how people act and talk, and it's like it's like, unfortunately, there's too many black people that doesn't realize that probably a majority of other black people makes over the low end of income, or like I said, like in my case, I grew up with both my parents. I'm the youngest. I've since I can remember, my dad was always a chief in the Navy and moving up. Family. I don't know. I wasn't there when family members didn't own their own businesses or wasn't in this position or that position. But at the same time, it's like, I don't know. I feel like I'm cultured enough. It never really shocked me to meet other people, and they didn't do things how I was used to doing things. And then also, I think as a kid living in California, Puerto Rico, Illinois, Chicago, whatever, I think just living in those different areas, it was kind of easier for me to understand and see the kind of the I'll say state by state cultural differences, or East Coast, West Coast, and the South cultural distances or differences. But I did have a lot of people that would be shocked I was into some of the things I was into. Um, I guess what kind of threw me off a little bit is when I first moved back to the states from Puerto Rico. I'm still talking about kind of because let me explain a little bit where I lived on base. Is a base in a U.S. territory, so pretty much everyone off base spoken of English, at least get you where you're going or you get business done or whatever like that. But when I moved back to the states, I'm still sitting there talking about I don't know Dragon Ball Z, Pokemon cards, and stuff like that. In like sixth or seventh grade, while a lot of the other young men they're over there to talking about sex that they weren't having because most of the girls they're talking about anyways they lived on base where I lived and a lot of the guys they lived off base and we were in sixth grade. Like most people wasn't doing nothing like that. But people would run their mouth and say they did until they got called out. Yeah, y'all know how the high school stuff goes. Any words or insight on that? Any opinions on that? Nope. All right, we'll get on to the next part. And then, part of what made me think about it was a phone conversation I had with one of my buddies and with his new wife's family that they just didn't get some of his things, and to him they lived a little bit, I guess we'll say, to be polite, under standards that he's used to from where he grew up and from the Marine Corps. Part of it came from that. Another part of it came from some of these weirdos that's in the YouTube spaces, swearing that they know everything and they don't. And I can see how they just could never even fathom how some people grew up the way they did, or like me. I haven't told y'all what my work did, but I've explained a little, or what my work is, but I've explained a little bit of it. And I realized some people came and fathom, which is unfortunate. Another. But even though we all know people that's in the government, works for the government, works with the government, whatever, they just can't fathom them a young black man or young black whoever doing some of the work that they do. I'm pretty sure if I was to share some stories, even some of the Marine Corps stories, even some stories but before the Marine Corps, just because I was in a different area, different state, different people, I'm sure some people wouldn't want to believe that they're true. They're probably like, man, that's too wild, something like that. But my thing is, I understand, but at the same time, I don't understand how grown adults can't understand that people that don't even live where they live or grew up differently, how they act like that's not possible, or how they act like some people are weird and stuff like that. It's my little spill on it. Anybody got anything? So, stop moving again. Nope. Well, I'm on here longer than I felt like being. And I want to be anyways. So I'm gonna go ahead and jump off. Hopefully, hold up, because my schedule has been a little wild, and I got some things coming up next Thursday. Okay, I don't have anything going on yet next Thursday. So hopefully my homeboy will be able to jump in with us next Thursday. and I'll be able to introduce him. He's not someone I had on as a guest before. I think he popped in the chat once or twice in the past. That's about it. But yeah, I won't say too much now. I'll save it for when he jumps in. But hopefully he's able to jump in and join us next week. All right, Gloss. And for everybody else, I appreciate y'all coming in. My numbers are saying two different things on one screen. It says 6 people. Another screen, it says 3 people. I don't know. So whoever's in here, not in here, whatever, I appreciate y'all coming and hanging out. Y'all have a good night. Please hit the like. If we earned your subscription, please subscribe. All right. And like my saying that I always forget the pattern of it, I'll write it down so I remember one day. Keep on getting stronger, keep on making more money, and plan, get businesses started. If not businesses, get backup on top of backup plans started. Y'all have a good night.